So in today's video, I'm talking about how to use self-love affirmations without any extra work. Because affirmations don't work for everyone, and there's a reason for that I'm going to talk about. And if you don't like I am beautiful, I am smart statements, I'm going to give you 2 workarounds so that the affirmations will actually be something that you believe in. But first, my name's Michelle Ferris. I'm a psychotherapist and I love helping people create relationships that work. So what are affirmations? They're basically positive, loving statements you say to yourself silently, out loud, or in written form to build healthy self-esteem. Because when you build your self-esteem the wrong way, like using external sources, like how much money you have, whether or not you're in a relationship, how many likes you get on a Facebook post, your job or student academic performance, those things are all fleeting. They don't last, and we can't control those sources because they're external. So healthy self-esteem has to be built from the inside out, which means being able to control the process. There are 2 ways you can build self-esteem. One is through your thoughts, and the other is through your behaviors. In this video, I'm going to be talking more about your thoughts. Let me touch on behaviors for a minute. Because when you do esteemable acts, which means behaviors that you're proud of, that reflect your values, your self-esteem is going to increase. And the reverse is true. When you do behaviors that don't align with your values or that you don't feel good about, like maybe you're having trouble with addiction or anger or people pleasing and you don't feel like you're taking good care of yourself, those things will decrease your self-esteem. So it's really important to know how to build self-esteem the right way, and the affirmations are going to be a really easy way you can do it without having to do extra work. So for instance, have you ever gone about your day and all of a sudden you felt terrible about yourself and you didn't know why? Well, that's because your self-talk changed. What is self-talk? It's basically the internal dialogue inside your head that goes like a tape and it plays 24/7. We all have this internal voice. But the thing is not everybody pays attention to it, and not everybody realizes the power of those conversations. Because when you're having an internal dialogue about everything in your life, it has an impact. So when self-talk is negative, then your self-esteem is going to be impacted, and most likely you're going to have low self-esteem. But when your self-talk is positive and loving, that helps you build and sustain a healthy sense of self, which is what we want. So when you have negative self-talk, it's almost always from childhood, where you might have had negative messages from parents, caregivers, authority figures about who you are as a person. Messages like you're not enough, or you're not smart, or you should be like so-and-so if you were compared to another student or a sibling. Messages like that form our self-talk. And unfortunately what happens is that we use those messages to build our self-esteem. So in adulthood, that conversation lingers where you're constantly telling yourself that you're not okay. And that's why self-talk is so important to catch. But don't beat yourself up if you have negative self-talk, because if you have it, say yes in the comments. I'm right there with you. I totally get it. Because our self-talk is not something we created. It's something that got formed in childhood. So be gentle on yourself. This is not something that you purposely did to yourself. And most people who come from dysfunctional families have some type of negative self-talk. So the easiest way to use self-love affirmations and build self-esteem is to change your self-talk. And here's why it doesn't take any extra work. You are already having this conversation with yourself all day long. So really, all you have to do is change the messages. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But the first thing I want you to do is I want you to start paying attention to your self-talk without judging it. Because if you have negative self-talk, it most likely doesn't belong to you. It's probably inherited messages you've learned growing up. So I want you to be gentle with yourself. And the one thing about negative self-talk is that it may surprise you how nasty it sounds and how much you are critical of yourself. But again, this is how we start, is to just build awareness for what the existing behavior is. The next step is to start being willing to change that self-talk. Now, in the moment, this might look like catching your negative self-talk and noticing that, oh my God, I just told myself I was stupid. So you can reverse that and say, you know what? I'm doing the best I can. It's okay for me to make a mistake. That is a way to start being kinder and gentler to yourself. So here are some quick hacks for creating self-love affirmations. 1, if you notice that affirmations are really painful for you, or you have a lot of self-hate, here's my workaround for you. Use compliments you've received from family and friends and say to yourself, my friends say that I'm a good person. My family loves me. My friends say that I have a big heart. Because my friends and my family, those are true statements, and your brain is going to glob onto those as true. And that's the secret to having affirmations work, is you have to tell yourself statements that are actually true so your brain doesn't reject it. Because if you say something like, I am beautiful or I am smart, and you really don't believe it, they're not going to work. So we need to find statements that your brain is going to say, yeah, that's really true about me. And if this is a struggle, start with compliments. The next thing you can do is to create neutral comments that aren't necessarily about you, but that are self-soothing, like everything is going to be okay, or this too shall pass, or I can handle this, or I can stay in today, one day at a time. I love using 12-step sayings that way for positive self-talk, because the goal of positive self-talk is not only to build self-esteem, it's also to stay calm and feel good in the moment. So if you're not ready for those I am statements, those are 2 workarounds. So another trick is to use the word maybe before an affirmation. Maybe I'm a good person. Maybe things will work out. Because again, that maybe makes it true, because it could possibly work out. So if you're ready to do I am affirmations, here's a few to get you started. I am enough. I think that's a really powerful one. I am okay exactly as I am. It's okay to be me. It's okay to be imperfect. Whatever qualities you know you have, use them in your I statements, because again, they have to be true for your brain to hold on to them and not reject them. So do you see how easy this is? You're not going to have to do anything extra. All you have to do is shift that internal conversation that you're already having with yourself. Now, the next step I want you to do is go get my free ebook on 4 steps to building confidence, because that's your next step. Thanks so much.